Hello, welcome to Glorify the Lord with me. Let's exalt His name together. I've been going through the book of Psalms and focusing primarily on its declarations. And to me, the book of Psalms is such a great book. And I don't think of it anymore as just a book of thanksgiving and praise, but as a general guide of how to approach God. And yesterday I talked about living out our days here on earth in awe of God. And I kind of want to build on that today and talk about a theme that runs all the way through the Psalms. And it's a theme of how to approach God. And let me just say this. The way we, in general, need to approach God is in truth. We need to approach Him in a way that's consistent with who He is. And of course, we're not perfect. We don't know everything about God. But it's important that we approach God not as losers or as victims, but we approach Him in a way that's consistent with who He is. And I just want to share a few verses of the many in Psalms that talk about how to approach God. The first one I want to share is, and two of them actually, from Psalm 5, which is traditionally thought of as a morning prayer. And verse 7 says this: "But I, by your great love, can come into your house. In reverence, I bow down towards your holy temple." So there's several things just in this short verse that come out. One is we're thanking Him that we can come into His house, and it's because of His love, because of His great grace. And so we're just acknowledging that it's because of you, God, that I can have a relationship with you. And then, of course, reverence. I bow down towards your holy temple. Okay, then in verse 3, the second half of verse 3 of chapter 5, it says, "In the morning I lay my request before you and wait expectantly." And then in Psalm 17, verse 6, the first half of that verse says, "I call on you, my God, for you will answer me." So listen to this. There's expectancy in that. There's faith in that, right? It says, "I wait expectantly. You will answer me." And we know that without faith, it's impossible to please God. This was known way back when, and before Christ and after Christ, right? Okay. Let me move on now. Chapter 7, verse 1 says this: "Lord my God, I take refuge in you." And chapter 16, verse 2 says, "I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. Apart from you, I have no good thing." These two verses illustrate another truth, and that is that we depend upon God. Really, we're helpless, and it's Him that we take refuge in. We say, apart from you, I have no good thing. I'm dependent on you, God. And that's true. And that's a way, but the good thing is God is our refuge and He is our provider. Okay, next, and this is the last one I want to share on. It's verse 14 from chapter 19. And it says this: "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord, my rock and my redeemer." And that's a good way to exit your prayer life and saying, Lord, as I walk out today, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight. What's on the inside and what's on the outside, God, I want to please you. And that's an important thing as we walk out our days. I want to please you. I want to be like you. So my encouragement today is, let's walk out, as I said yesterday, live out our lives here on earth in awe of God, but recognizing that He's holy, that we depend on Him, but that He's trustworthy and He will come through. We can expect that. So let's live out our days that way, consistent with who the Lord is. Thank you, and let's talk soon.